Today is episode one of my series where I'm going to document the whole journey to hitting $20,000 a month recurring. I run an AI automation agency. I build real world solutions for various industries and companies using AI. The reason why I'm starting this is, as you know, I started this company around 7, 8 months ago. And up until this point, I've made around $30,000 to $40,000, not in any particular niche or industry. I've around between how I get my clients, cold email, work, things like that. So with this series, what I wanted to do is completely start fresh. So I guess a little bit of context around this is I do have a 9 to 5 job. And for my business in this YouTube series, I am going to be doing everything from the hours of 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. every single morning. The reason why I wanted to start this series is because I think you may look at it as, oh, I've made good additional money on top of my 9 to 5. But what I wanted to do is really pinpoint on a specific industry and go all in on that one and document it. The reason being is because I think right now in the YouTube space, and especially the AI space, is there's so much theory being given, but there's very little real world implementation. And that's where I want to step in and provide that value. So I guess a bit more information is my 9 to 5. I am a software engineer. So I do have the technical background to be in this space. It's not like I'm starting fresh when it comes to that. So if there's any additional help that I can, provide along the way, or any questions you may have, I'll be happy to answer them. But how I see this, progressing in the future is I'm again going to document everything, how I find the industry, find the pain points, etc., and then what we, build off that, how we reach out to our clients, all those things. And again, it's going to be completely raw, completely transparent. One, just because I think it'll keep me accountable, as well as you'll get a real, I guess, feeling of what, it's like to do something like this, because I think there's so much, smoke and mirrors on Instagram and YouTube of, oh, I build AI voice agents and I make $100,000 a month. No, they don't. And some do, of course, but majority, they don't. It's just them trying to sell you some kind of online offer or, a digital product, whatever it may be. I just wanted to escape that. I want this to be completely raw and, again, transparent, because I want you to see what it actually takes to hit this. And I think the big part in this is, if I fail, you're going to see it. Like, if we run a campaign, if we run 5 email campaigns for, the course of a month or 2 months, and they all fail miserably, you're going to see it. We're going to go back to the drawing board and we're going to start fresh. There's no giving up here. We're going to hit the $20,000 a month, goal. And then we're going to continue to go off that. Then we're going to go to 30, then 40, then 50. So, you're also, as I learn how to run a business, you're going to learn how to run a business. And I think the most important part in all of this is I don't expect to do it all by myself. If there are parts that I need to kind of delegate, then I will, because I think that's important. If I don't know something and I know that I can hire or pay someone who has the knowledge that I don't have, then we've just decreased that, that learning curve, or that gap. We've closed it down significantly, because, specifically cold emails, I know I can't copyright, but I have resources that I've gained over the past couple months that I'm going to be sharing with you. But that's something that it'd be stupid of me to sit here and run cold email campaigns or whatever for the next year and be like, oh, look at all this data I've gathered. Like, and someone who spent the last 10 years doing it could have told me that in one Zoom call or whatever. That's basically my goal. On top of, building AI automations and knowing that part of the game, this is also running a business. So I want to be completely transparent on that front too, is, I don't know how to run a business, but, I'll be damned, we're going to figure it out as we go. And I think that's the most important part, is we're going to fail. We're going to get back up. We're going to try again. We're going to iterate. We're going to find those feedback loops. And we're going to hit the $20,000 a month recurring goal. It's just a matter of when and how. So although what we start with may not be what we end with, but I think that's that's just part of the journey. So with that, let's go ahead and let's jump right into it. This is where I am today. I think, let's see, 1 second. Okay, so as of, well, where did you come from? So as of today, as you're aware, we are, I don't know how this little guy keeps popping back up, but okay, this will be us. And as it stands, we have $0 monthly recurring. This is day one. What my plan is today, so episode 1, what are we going to do? We are going to, this is a lot harder than I thought. We're going to identify pain points in we're going to identify pain points in a specific niche. Prior to making this, I've already identified the industry that I want to go into. So in picking this industry, I wanted to find one that was arguably a blue ocean, meaning that there's very little competition. There's a lot of potential for AI. And what I came down to was actually title and, sorry, we'll get better at this over time. This is pretty rough. But title and escrow companies. The reason being is because I wanted to find a niche that had what I thought maybe easy barrier to entry, as well as, you know, just at face value, what their pain points might be. So when you think title and escrow, to me, I'm thinking a lot of, you know, manual documentation. And right now where AI is at, AI can do a lot, especially if you're using Claude Code, all those different things. It's very powerful. But with this, one thing that we know is tried and true is that it's very good at document processing. So whether it's reading a document, writing a document, whatever, it's very good at that. A little bit more arguable on writing the document. It takes a lot of prompting to get it exactly where you want. But as far as you know, a couple things that I've seen in this space is like if you have to look for, like, if there's a lien on an apartment or the building, or it depends on who we're targeting specific for these title and escrow companies. If they have liens on the property that they're trying to sell, then they have to go through that document and try to find all these little nuances such as liens and all these other examples that we'll kind of cover them later. Why spend 30 minutes trying to find one particular part in a contract or a lengthy amount of files when AI can just do it in milliseconds? So that's kind of my first idea. Again, this could fail miserably. This could be a terrible niche, a terrible industry. But this is one that I'm going to go all in on for at least 2 months, 60 days, because in that time we can blast cold emails, LinkedIn outreach, and get enough data to know whether or not it's going to work or not. And then if it doesn't, we go back to the drawing board, figure it out again. If we get 1 to 2 customers, the pain points might be there, but our methods may be off. Maybe our infrastructure needs to have a tweak of, to, rather than in 60 days closing 2 to 3, maybe we need to go back and iterate and try to close 4 or 5. That's kind of my idea here. What I want to do is right now, I'm going to go into Perplexity and I'm going to tell it I'm going after title and escrow companies. I run an AI automation powered agency, whatever. I need you to go through forums, go through Reddit, go through all these places that title and escrow people live, and I need you to scrape, maybe it's certain keywords or identify pain points that are, coming up that are reoccurring in different areas. Because once we have that, that's our ammunition to kind of put into our cold email campaigns. But with that, I also want to hit the keywords part, because we also need to speak their language, because at the end of the day, cold email is all about psychology. If we can nail down the psychology part, such as the verbiage that they use, identifying the pain points that they have, but speaking to them how I'm doing now, like if you just FaceTime a buddy, like that's how you need to reach out to them. You don't need to sell them on email one. You don't need to, hey, book a call with me. And nobody's going to do that. Cold email has changed drastically in the last couple of years. And then the amount of AI slop and personalization that people are pushing on you, sure, it works, but it's becoming such a norm now that the recipients of the cold email campaigns are seeing right through it. So we need to be different. We need to stand out and find what works. And again, I think doing this will be, identifying the pain points that they're talking about specifically, not just trying to guess, as well as talking to them like we've been in the industry ourselves, because that once you get them on that like one-on-one kind of level, then it tends to be easier to convert them into a paid client. And there's multiple ways to do this, right? Whether we offer, if we work for them for 60 days free, or we tell them, hey, I'll solve your biggest pain point for free, and then from there, you're in hopes that you can land a retainer with them, etc. So that's the goal. So I'm going to do that bit of research, and I'm going to come back and talk about it once I've covered it down with Perplexity. And from there, we will go into, the next steps of drafting a cold email campaign, as well as, ballpark numbers we want to run, as far as, what that retainer in the future is going to look like, et cetera. And then how we're going to get there. I want to completely map it out. I don't want to, exclude parts of me doing this, but the part that I'm fixing to do with Perplexity is just just that basic industry research. It's very straightforward. I'll go through it. I'm just not going to show that whole process. It'd be pretty boring, but I will go through and tell you exactly how I did it. I'm going to start with that, and we'll be back shortly.
All right. So what it came back with was quite a few different pain points. Again, the good thing about Perplexity is it actually goes into various web pages to find this information. So it can scrape Reddit posts, all these different things to give you. I wouldn't say this is tried and true, but it gets you in the ballpark of speaking their language, identifying pain points, etc. One thing I really like to do with various AI platforms such as Perplexity and Claude is I always tell it, don't give me the mean answer of the data that you use to give me the answer, if that makes sense. Rather than giving me the average answer for all the data that you use to look up what I asked you, give me the top 1%. Because to me, I think that's the best. It always comes back with the best answers, and you can try this yourself. So go through, ask it a question, and then go back in and ask it another question, but say, hey, don't give me the mean answer, give me the top 1% answer using the data that you use. What did you come back with on top 1%, not just the average? So pretty interesting. It works pretty well. But one thing that I went in and I reviewed all of these, and again, I don't know the title and escrow industry all that well. So that's the big key. That's the reason why I'm choosing one company, because the way that AI is going and everything else is people building AI solutions for all these different niches, yada, yada, yada. They're going to be obsolete in the next coming months, just because everybody's going to be able to do it with the way Claude's going. So my idea with this is to inject myself in a particular industry or niche and be that person in that industry. And what I mean by that is there's already a lot of competition out there with people building AI solutions and everything else, which is okay. That's part of it. But I think if you position yourself as that person in that industry, it gives you a bit more leverage. And again, the big part here is just getting those case studies. So getting our foot in the door, solving problems for this industry. And then we can use that to scale even further. All we need is one. We need one person to say yes to us. And that's our foot in the door. And then after that, our cold email sequences change depending on what solution we built for them, how much money it saved, things like that. And then that
that then will take us
away from having to offer anything for free because we used a case study. We can even use a specific company name, whatever, inside of that email, and it just gives us a bit more of that social proof to hopefully make the yeses in the future a lot easier.
So anyway, with that,
what I came back with was, let's see, if I ask it to give me the top 1 to 3 solvable pain points. So I picked this one, this deadline and task tracking during escrow particularly. The reason why I wanted to do this because the pain points that I got were very broad. So my idea with this is, okay, let's identify 1 to 3 of the top pain points, and then get even further within that pain point. So I picked the deadline and task tracking during escrow. And then I told it to go into it further. Let's break this down even more. And the reason being is if we go in and we solve all of the title and escrow document pains that they have, then they're okay, awesome. Thanks. We're going to use this now. And that could take away the opportunity for a retainer, for future work, things like that. So what we want to do is we want to solve one to two small layers within that pain point. And we want it to be intentionally incomplete. So with that, we solve, like I said, 1 to 2 of those critical pain points within the original pain point. And then from there, they're like, oh my gosh, can we add on to this? Can you add this to it? And that's just an easy upsell. So that's our angle here. We're always looking for the upsell. We don't want to give them a large portion of the pie immediately, and then they take it and run. So, and again, this is just business. This is just what we have to do strategically, or at least what I think we have to do strategically. So what it came back with was this critical item watchdog, or whatever it named it here. So it's just file tracking, documentation updates to the right people, agents, whatever. So then I used Claude to come back in and give me a bit more of a diagnosis into this. So the technical breakdown, title and escrow companies are manually babysitting 20 to 50 open files simultaneously. Their tracking system is typically a combination of sticky notes, shared spreadsheets, and memory. So this is huge, but take it for what it is. But this is a large manual portion that can be automated. So that's something we would need to just keep in the back of our mind as we proceed. But so the technical architecture is talking about using inaugural, which you can, which means this can be a very deterministic, robust approach, which nothing against it. I just think dying. So you need to be wary of that. If we could somehow put this in their environment with Claude Code, and just have it run on a cron job or something like that, it'd be way better than using inaugural, which it could be good in this case. I just think with the way that Claude's going, it's going to be easier to refactor or change the way that our solution works, say if we implemented this tomorrow. And something drastically changes with Claude, which you see every day, 2 to 3 months down the road. So that's my idea there. And inaugural is obviously a really good choice still for these kind of deterministic, robust approaches. But so is Claude at the end of the day. So to each their own. Do what you want to do. But you can see here, they broke it down even further, which I thought was good. So within this critical item watchdog, the Perplexity gave us, so layer 1 is file ingestion. They export a simple file, list from their existing software, and it lists their software, which is obviously good. Knowing what softwares they use in their field is a good thing to know as well. So fields needed, file number, closing date, responsible parties, names, emails, phones, all this other stuff that's recommended. And then a workflow fires daily. It compares today's date against each closing date and calculates days remaining. So basic. This is very straightforward automation. So I would honestly try to find a way to polish this up. And what I mean by that is just make it sound more appealing. It doesn't actually have to do anything. More times than not, the boring automations is what makes money. So that's what solves real world problems, and not these shiny Claude agents that go out and run your entire business yourself, like you see on LinkedIn, and everybody built 5 marketing agents that do all their marketing for them. No, they don't. That's not the idea here. So you can see here, I told it specifically about the upsells, things like that. So it's telling me to give them layers 2 and 3 only, specifically the deadline triggered multi-party reminder sequence. They feed you a Google Sheet or CSV. And again, this is, I don't like this because it's just assuming. You don't really know until you have the conversations with
people in that specific industry, which is
which is
okay.
okay. That's exactly what we're here to do. We're just here to identify the pain points, tell them that we can solve them, and at the end of the day, we just want the foot in the door to learn more about the industry
and
go from there.
You can
see here it gave the
the
upsell path. So completeness verification. Right now the reminders are working, but your team is still opening every document to check for missing signatures and pages. We can automate that review so documents that come in get flagged and bounce back automatically before they even hit your desk. That's a really good upsell. Escalation dashboards. So we give them their own mini SaaS, which is very easy to do with Claude nowadays. Anything that offers a UI is a pretty good idea because it's something that's visually tangible. So it's a good idea. And then obviously the full retainer. Full watchdog plus AI assisted file opening, HOE demand tracking, pay request, and automation. This is all good, but again, it's a bit of speculation because we don't really know until we get into the industry. So this is very what's the right word here? Very broad as far as our research has gone. But again, it is something we can try rather than trying to research this for the next 6 hours and find the best pain point and best offer. No, we're just going to jump feet first. We're going to run with it. If we send it to 500 people and it doesn't work, okay, back to the drawing board. Try again. It's very simple. Now that we have this, I'm not totally sold on it. I think it's a pain point, but to me, it doesn't scream, oh, we need this now. And maybe it is. So maybe we send it to 200 to 300 leads and see how it performs. But for me, I think I'm gonna have a backup offer. So I'm probably gonna go back and forth with Perplexity and Claude a little bit further. And again, this doesn't have to be the shiny thing that's going to look cool and perform well and all those different things. Because like I said, more times than not, the boring automation is the one that actually saves them time and money. So that's what we need to find. And honestly, a good way to know to get to know the industry is just LinkedIn. Making posts that are baiting people to comment on it or reply on it. Even if it's your cold email campaign or LinkedIn DM campaigns. I use Aimpox. You can use whatever you want. There's trying to think. There's Phantom Buster. Like I said, Aimpox. So there's multiple different ones that you could use to do this. But another thing to do is to use one of those two services to actually scrape posts and use what we use Perplexity for, but in automation. So scrape LinkedIn posts for, let me back up. I guess what you could do first is scrape your leads, follow them on LinkedIn. Once you're following them, and then run an automation to scrape all their posts to see if they're talking about different pain points or how they would love to use AI in certain ways, whatever. I think for this we're 24 minutes in now, which I think is good. This does, and again, I wanted to keep this as raw as possible. So this is exactly what I'm doing to kind of figure this out. But I think this is a good stopping point. I think I am going to, like I said, dive into the pain points a bit further and just see what I can come out with. But I think obviously in the next video I'll have something a little bit more concrete as far as what I want to offer. But again, I don't think this one's bad. We could run, like I said, 200 to 300 emails off of this just to see, just to get your toes wet. Again, the last thing we want to do is sit on this and never actually implement anything. So my thoughts is jump feet first. What's the worst that could happen? You get 300 no's. Okay, that's data. You got 300 no's, so your offer sucks. So we go back to the drawing board. So it's all about perspective and how you look at it. So I'm probably going to do that. If I do decide to do that, I'll come back with another video showing you how I create those copyrighted, or how I do the copywriting, how I get my campaigns up. I use Instantly, all those different things. Even how I scrape leads, I have Claude Skills that does all that for me. And again, this is completely, you're seeing everything. So I'm going to show you the skills that I created. If I need to create a separate series of showing you how I create those skills, I can. The idea here, again, is to be completely raw. We'll show you everything. So if I decide to do that, I'll come back and I'll give another video and we will go from there. So I hope you enjoyed episode one. I know it's a bit probably boring as far as like what we're doing, but I think if you skip the initial steps, I don't know, try to gloss over I think any parts of the atoms that we have at the beginning, then I think it can hurt you in the future. So
that's what
That's what we're doing
here.
here.
It's not
It's not
hard,
hard, but it is simple. So
just
gotta do our research, get it done, and
just
start sending out emails as quick as possible to get data back. That's basically it. So yeah, that's it for me on this one. I will see you in the next one. That could be probably going to be us drafting cold email campaigns and going from there. So thanks, and I will see you in the next one.